Believe me or not, Caucasus was actually united once. I mean, picture this. Armenian Saul Goodman, Georgian Walter White, and Azerbaijani Gus Fring all operating under one single facility. I mean, this is how Caucasus was. On the first glance, you'd say that this would actually work, but it turns out it fell off as quickly as it started. Definitely the Transcaucasian Federation was like that one unfortunate kid who had tons of potential but fell off, eventually ending up being bankrupt and alcoholic. Alkash. So let's address the elephant in the room. Caucasus is deeply unstable and is home to the most diverse community that is also part of this huge border gore. Or we can say is part of this one big Ajab Sandal. I mean, it exchanged hands many times, with the most recent being the Russians, Persians, the Turks, you name it. The region was known for many things. I mean, it was the hub for trade. The Silk Road literally passed through Armenia. Still does. The place is also known for having banger wine, white people, and dances on steroids. Whether you prefer solo dances or dances with teamwork, you can find something for you. If you want solo, go to Georgia, and if you want teamwork, come to Armenia. You can literally send your son to the Caucasus and forget about him. Chances are he will grow up to become the next wrestler of the century. Possibly the new Makhachev or Topuria. And let's not forget about Tsarukyan. And don't get me wrong on parties. Parties in the Caucasus are actually one of the most banger ones you can have. And those don't have to be your average Western style frat parties that have a lot of lighting, bunch of people cramped inside. This can be something else. This can be your own average family gathering taken to the next level. Mind you, we just scratched the surface of Caucasus here. And if you're watching this and thinking, hell yeah, we're friends now. В общем, on top of all this, the region itself is the definition of border gore. I mean, it's literally the Balkans on steroids. Like, picture this, you're in a party and the party's actually going really well until you realize everyone is drunk. Even the Tamada is drunk himself. So in this situation, two scenarios can actually happen. Either one, all of them start to fight each other because no one knows what is going on anyway. Or two, they party harder. And for Caucasus, both of them are the case. Like, politically, there's a lot of conflicts happening. All of them somehow hate each other. But if you take all of them, put them in a party, they'll just vibe together like it was nothing. Qefchi. Every single person in the Caucasus is an intellectual or a politician by default, who can start the most philosophical conversations ever, especially those who drive a taxi. Like in Armenia, there are taxi drivers that will always flex on what they did in Moscow and why are they driving a taxi now, which, if you think about it, is actually the most insane lore a taxi driver can have. And if you talk to a taxi driver about the Caucasus in general, you'll realize that we are actually in big Qaqi Mitch. Well, all of this has to do with history and political dynamics, which has roots in the Caucasus since forever. Which explains why the border gore map is what it is now. But also, let's not forget that the administrative maps of the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union were also horrible. And genuinely, I miss the time when Caucasus was actually quite peaceful in terms of borders. Well, you see, this ethnic concoction also comes with different religions. Think Caucasus with different flavors for a moment. You got vanilla Armenia, chocolate Azerbaijan, and caramel Georgia. Wait, but was it always like this? Was it always this unstable? The truth is, no one knows. One says that all was running like clockwork until one group came and blew things up. Turns out, you don't have to unite all those countries through force or diplomacy if you can do it through your artistic skill. And for the case of Caucasus, this actually did happen because there was this one artist, an Ashugh, who united all those three countries together through song and his artistic skills, but then ended up being claimed by all three. Enter Sayat Nova, the ultimate Ashugh of the entire Caucasus region. And frankly to say, when I was checking the Wikipedia page of Sayat Nova in Armenian, Georgian, and Azerbaijani, I can see that all those three countries somehow managed to come to a consensus on what he did. And frankly to say, he can be considered as the ultimate ambassador of the Caucasus. Well, for starters, he is an Ashugh and a quite well-known one for his time. So Ashughs are basically bards that travel and accompany their songs. Usually their songs are consisting of traditional epics, also known as dastan, or shorter original compositions. They usually play regional instruments such as tar, saz, kamancha, duduk, and much more. Well, for starters, Ashughs are not just your average bards, they're also talented musicians. All of them have their own unique style and then create their own varied repertoire of their songs, basically turning them into the embodiment of culture and relevance, especially in that time. What's cool about Ashughs is they also have an ethical code. This alone required not just wisdom and integrity, but also the way to speak the truth. Sometimes you just want to sit down and think, how did we evolve from this to this? How did we evolve from sharing music and expressions through music to just flexing, or in jargon we say Kurajit. В общем, Ashughs also battled each other. Think of rap battles, but if they're actually cooler. So basically what it was one Ashugh would challenge another one, and they would basically indulge themselves into this verbal dueling, which ended up with one reciting a riddle and the other one answering that riddle in some shape or form. But the key here is not winning, but improvising. So a good Ashugh always knows how to improvise, so you wouldn't create this, socially awkward position where you're just gonna stare at utter silence for no reason. So many cultures had Ashughs, Armenians, Georgians, Azeris, but no one was as prominent as Sayat Nova because man was beyond his time too. And frankly, this is also why I'm giving him the title of the ultimate Caucasian ambassador. В общем, Sayat Nova was born in Tiflis, specifically in the district of Havlabar, which was a predominantly Armenian district in the city, and frankly to this day still holds that status. His real name is HAYUTYUN Sayatyan, and his nickname is actually a concoction of Persian and Arabic, coming from Arabic Sayyid and Persian Nava. What's really interesting about Sayat Nova is that in one of his songs he mentions that he's from Tbilisi, while from other songs he mentions that he's from Adana or Halep. But the thing is, his mother's side lived in Havlabar for generations, while his father's side was actually either from Adana or from Halep. So he basically claimed both sides of his ancestry. Sayat Nova is actually an OG Tiflis resident, as his childhood passed in Tiflis, where he learned Armenian and Georgian. Oh, and Persian as well, because at that time Georgia was under Iranian influence as well. Really talented individual in terms of languages. Man was basically Duolingo before Duolingo was a thing, and on top of that, he could sing. At the age of 12, he's given himself into learning the art of being an Ashugh. And he was so talented that he got his very first workbench at a very early age. Until the age of 30, he was constantly learning and perfecting his Ashugh skills, sometimes learning new melodies and sometimes creating his own melodies, which were actually pretty cool. As well as he traveled a lot, specifically to the Middle East, Persia, India, and Armenia, particularly visiting the monastery of Surp Karapet, where he got the title the Music Hunter, which is pretty based. The truth is, he never really tried to unite the Caucasus, but he did so by being too locked into his craft. There are over 220 songs attributed to him and a dozen of poems in between. But the most interesting thing about Sayat Nova's songs is you can find a lot of romantic songs alongside with songs that condemned social injustice. One of his most famous songs is Ashkarumas Iman Dunis, which was both in Armenian and Georgian and was the theme song of this popular movie Poker AM, which is actually a goated movie you should watch. Another cool song Sayat Nova has is Uzun Dara, which is traditionally played at Armenian weddings, specifically during the part where the bride dances solo. В общем, back to Sayat Nova. So he was working at the Tiflis royal court, which was once part of the kingdom of Qaqi, which was also the time where Sayat Nova madly fell in love with King Erekle II's sister Anna, which eventually ended up him losing his job. Well, you see, being an Ashugh is sometimes tough because no matter how much you try to uphold the truth, there will always be someone that will forge rumors against you and will try to sabotage you the best way he can. Basically doing something known as Krisutyun. And it is likely that the love story between Anna and Sayat Nova can actually be a rumor to oust him out from the royal palace of Tiflis, which worked in the end, and he eventually became a priest under the order of King Erekle II. Eventually baptized as Stepanos, he was sent to a port city in the southern region of the Caspian Sea, known as Bandar-e Anzali, where he copied word for word Grigor Narekatsi's Matyam Vokhbergutyan, This is basically one of the most important pieces of Armenian literature, and during this time, Sayat Nova started writing more and more melancholic songs. We do not know for sure when Sayat Nova came to his home country, but we do know he continued his church service in Tiflis and Hakhpat. However, unfortunately for him, the Persian army under the command of Agha Muhammad Khan entered the Hakhpat monastery and demanded for Sayat Nova to convert to Islam, which he didn't and was executed on spot, thus marking an end of an era. Or so we thought. Sayat Nova's legacy is deeply embedded in the Ashugh history of the region. He took the local existing music and elevated it, thus creating his own genre. He invented Ashugh music as if it was something that was given to him. And if you think about it, man was a real genius. Sayat Nova's legacy is also so connected to the region itself that cities either have an event or a holiday dedicated to him. Like in Tbilisi, there is this one event known as Vartaton, which is done to pay homage to Sayat Nova. During this time, a big Ashugh concert is organized and people wear red roses in homage to Sayat Nova. Meanwhile, in Yerevan, people walk down the Sayat Nova Avenue to put flowers on the statue of Sayat Nova, thus also paying homage to him. In 1967, Sergei Parajanov filmed a movie about Sayat Nova, however it was heavily discredited by the USSR and there had to be several heavy editings done before the release. Eventually, this movie was released as The Color of the Pomegranates, which eventually became a hit in Soviet cinema and Armenian cinema. Also, I want to face all the allegations on which ethnicity Sayat Nova belongs to, and I'll say this. Sayat Nova is an Armenian. I mean, his name is literally HAYUTYUN Sayatyan, an Armenian first and last name. Yeah, he was born in Georgia. He spoke Georgian. He also spoke Armenian, believe it or not. He also spoke Azeri, but ethnically, he is an Armenian. And it's crazy that it takes one guy to unite the Caucasus without any war or diplomacy. Just music and pure art. В общем, sense baner, hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Vince movida gaumardjos chemi dzmaebi. Like, subscribe. Пока-пока, давайте.